Good day, dear students. Let's begin our lesson. Today's theme is Moscow, forever young and beautiful. Write down the theme in your copybooks, please. Добрый день, дорогие студенты! Наша сегодняшняя тема – Москва. Всегда молодая и красивая. Сегодня мы с вами поговорим о столице нашего государства, о Москве. Напишите тему. At the last lesson, we had spoken about past simple tense. На прошлом занятии мы с вами поговорили о прошедшем времени. Узнали, как образуется прошедшее время в английском языке. Как образуются отрицательные, вопросительные и утвердительные предложения. Учили неправильные глаголы в английском языке. Также узнали, как задаем подлежащему вопрос. И сегодня, используя все эти навыки, попробуем прочесть и перевести текст, так как очень много предложений в прошедшем времени. Let's begin our lesson. You should learn by heart the vocabulary. The second, read the text and translate it. The third, do an exercise 9, number 10. And the fourth, answer the questions. Now, first of all, open your exercise book and write down the vocabulary. The first word, Mosquito. Mosquito. Москвич. Mosquito. To be governed. To be governed. Управляться. To be governed. Управляться. City council. City council. Городской совет. City council. Mayor. Mayor. Мэр. Mayor. Borough. Borough. Округ. Hub. Средоточие. Hub. Network. Network. Сеть. Network. Civilian. Civilian. Гражданский. To adjoin. To adjoin. Примыкать. Граничить. To adjoin. Marketplace. Marketplace. Рыночная площадь. Marketplace. Spot. Spot. место. Popular Assembly. Popular Assembly. Народное собрание. Cathedral. Cathedral. Собор. Liberator. Liberator. Освободитель. Liberator. Grand Duke. Великий князь. Grand Duke. Великий князь. To occur. Случаться. To occur. Offensive. Наступление. Offensive. Наступление. Virtually. Практически. Virtually. Практически. To host. Принимать гостей. To host. To launch. Запускать. Начинать. To launch. Now, using this vocabulary, these words, let's read and translate the text. Pay attention to the pronunciation of words. Let's begin reading the text. Alexander is a Muscovite, and he knows a lot about the history of Moscow. Moscow is the capital of Russia and of the Moscow region. It's the administrative center of the Central District. It's situated on the Moscow River. Moscow is Russia's largest city and the leading economic and cultural center. Moscow is governed by a city council and mayor and is divided into boroughs. The heart of Moscow is the Kremlin, a walled city in itself. Its walls represent the city limits as of the late 15th century. The hub of the Russian railway network, Moscow is also a port and has several civilian and military airports. You also can see the picture of Moscow River and the Kremlin. Let's go on. Adjoining the Kremlin, in the east, there is Red Square. It originally was a marketplace and a meeting spot for popular assemblies. Red Square is still used as a parade ground and for demonstrations. One of the most wonderful examples of Russian architecture is St. Basil's Cathedral. In front of the cathedral, there stands a monument to the liberators, Minin and Pozharsky. Pay attention to the pictures. The first picture. In the first picture you can see the red square and also the St. Basil's Cathedral. And in the second picture there is the monument to the liberators Minis and Pozharsky. The village of Moscow was first mentioned in the Russian chronicles in 1147, and this year it was founded by Yuri Dolgoruki in the 15th century. Moscow became the capital of the Russian national state, and in 1547 Grand Duke Ivan I became the first Tsar. In this picture there is a portrait of Grand Duke Ivan IV. Built largely of wood until the 19th century, Moscow suffered from numerous fires. The most well-known of them occurred during Napoleon's occupation in 18 and 2012. Rebuilt, Moscow developed as a major textile and metallurgical center. During the 19th and early 20th centuries, it was the principal center of the labor movement and social democracy. There are pictures you can see about Napoleon's occupation and about wood buildings. During World War II, Moscow was the goal of the German offensive. Also, the German columns were stopped only about 40 kilometers from the city center. Moscow suffered virtually no war damage. The city hosted the Olympic Games in 1980. In the 1990s, the city began to attract foreign investment and became increasingly westernized. Many reconstruction projects were launched. Nowadays, Moscow is even more beautiful with its modern cafes, shops, and offices of European standard. The end. Now, using the vocabulary, translate the text. After translating the text, you should do exercise number 10. Are these statements true or false? Correct the false ones. You should write, if it is true, only the word true. If it is false, write down the true sentence using the text. Упражнение 10. Выполняем письменно. Правда или неправильно эти выражения предложения? Если они верны, пишем слово true. Если нет, находим правильный вариант из текста и пишем предложение. The first, Moscow is governed by a mayor. Moscow has several ports. The third, Minin and Pozharsky founded Moscow in 1147. The monument to Yuri Dolgoruki stands in Red Square. St. Basil's Cathedral is located within the territory of the Kremlin. The first Russian Tsar was Ivan the Terrible. In the 15th century, Moscow became the capital of the Russian Federation. During World War II, Moscow was occupied by the German troops. Moscow suffered from numerous fires. The most known of them occurred during World War II. And the last in the 1980s. Many reconstruction projects were launched. You should write down the word true or the sentence. Now answer to these questions. What and who is it? Write down in words. Ответьте на вопросы. Кто или что это? Пишем всего лишь словами. Ответы. The first. The heart of Moscow. What is it? The second, a very large, usually stone, building for Christian worship is the largest and most important church. What is it? The third, the head of the city. Who is it? The head of the city. The fourth, who was Grand Duke Ivan I? Who was Grand Duke Ivan I? And the last, the main city of a government, where the highest bodies of management. What is it? Dear students, today we have known historic information about Moscow and also about nowadays day. We paid attention to the historic site, to the heads of Moscow, also to the Great Fire times and to the World War II times. And at home, you should translate the text, learn by heart the new words, do the exercise number 10, and answer the question in words. Our lesson is over. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.